Welcome to another edition of Faith
Football
and
Four.
So glad that you can join us again on our weekly podcast, maybe eventually a bi-weekly podcast as the football season rolls on. But hey, glad to have us back together and glad to get together. You got a baby on the way here anytime now, so
yeah,
that's
anytime now.
kind of. Yeah. You focused okay though? You're
I think so. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
All right. Had to do a little bit of last minute kind of getting ready for tonight, but other than that, I'm ready.
Okay. All right. Are you ready for the podcast?
I am.
Okay. Well, I thought this week, since we got the FedEx Cup finale, the Tour Championship coming up, and then we've got football season just a week and a half away, basically, the NFL season. I thought we'd just kind of focus on those two things tonight and not really talk a whole lot about college football. Next week, of course, we've got to talk about college football because it's going to be a big weekend for the college kickoff. By the way, college doing kind of a solid for us with some great games early.
I think so too. Yeah. I mean, I feel like you gotta get week one with a bang, right? Because you're just like week 5, 6 or so that really has a good game every block. Mm-hmm. But really for week one, I mean, I like obviously the 11 o'clock game, the 2:30 game, and the 6 o'clock game.
Can I just throw something out there? Just kind of while we're talking about this, why does the NFL have to have a preseason if the college just slammo number 1 versus number 3 the first rattle out of the box?
So I was actually thinking about this the other day. We didn't talk about this previously, but I was thinking that too. I was like, why does the NFL have preseason and college doesn't? Well, I was thinking because NFL is limited to a 53-man roster.
True.
So they just draft all these players. They picked them up in free agency. You're bumping up practice squad to the regular squad just to weed out who they want on the 53-man and let those preseason games be deciding. Because, I mean, I feel super bad for those guys that get injured.
Yeah.
And it cost them season, potentially career. And I was like, oh, that makes a lot of sense for the NFL maybe to have a preseason for those guys, since 53 men for the NFL is pretty limited.
Yeah, but how do you, I mean, we could debate this kind of off and on all day long, but how do you relegate that guy that is a fringe guy and he's out there busting it to make a 53-man roster and gets hurt in a preseason game?
It is hard to justify.
When he could actually, contribute to the good of the team in the real games, I don't know. There's a lot of debate there. I don't know that there's a right. But I will say this: I'm really glad that the preseason's down to 3 games, 4 for 2 teams. Yes. And, we're not doing those 5 or 6 games, and not real crazy about the fact that they're probably going to add another game to the backside of the football schedule eventually, and there'll be 18 games.
17's already too long, in my opinion.
Man, I tell you.
I mean, I love football, don't get me wrong.
Yeah. But I don't like seeing those guys. Plus, I tell you what it also hurts is the records. Okay? Because Saquon last year, could have broken the 2,000-yard mark and, all that kind of stuff. Gotten real close to Eric Dickerson's. But Eric Dickerson's record was in a 16 game season. And so, I don't know. But I'm old. I'm old school,
And I get it. I think both of them are impressive, obviously. I mean, I think Saquon doing what he did this past year in the NFL the way that it is now is tough. Is really tough to compare with.
For sure. It's easy to say. I don't know, 2,000 yards in a season, no matter how many games you're playing, that's pretty impressive.
It is. Yeah,
it is. But anyway, we want to talk a little bit about golf. Let's go ahead and kind of start there a little bit. Scotty Scheffler did it again last weekend at the BMW.
Yeah, that was amazing.
It's almost numbing, isn't it, to watch him play golf?
It is. Even the commentators were saying he's not doing anything flashy.
Yeah.
They kept saying, I don't think Scheffler expected to catch him so quick because he started the day 4 back, right?
4 back,
it was 16. It was 16 under.
4 back.
Yeah. It was 16 under to 12 under, and he caught him on hole 5.
Yeah. Of course, Bob McIntyre was really feeling the heat, and
who can
head to head with Scotty. That was kind of Bob's worst nightmare, is having to play with Scotty on Sunday. I'm sure he was thinking on Saturday, man, if Scotty can just get in the group ahead of us, then maybe I got a chance.
I was thinking that too. Yeah.
Yeah. Scotty's just methodical. And then you come down, to the 17th hole and listen to the press conference afterwards. When he chips in from Nowheresville, and in his press conference, ladies and gentlemen, he said that he practiced in the practice rounds hitting it there so that he could hit that chip shot, knowing that they would put the pin all the way over there on the right. Now tell me,
I must have missed that.
How
That's crazy.
over prepped is he? I mean, he's a supreme ball striker.
Yeah.
Hits the driver good, has an amazing short game. Obviously, he's got that whoop thing that he wears all the time. He knows how to control his heart rate. And his course management, he doesn't even have his
regular caddy with him. I know.
I know. Ted Scott will be back this week, I heard just a few
man.
minutes ago. But man, all those things. And he goes out and practices the shot that he's got to hit. Now, was he planning on making it? Good heavens, no.
No, but I mean, he probably practiced it enough to get it within 6 feet.
Oh yeah, he knew that that's what he was going to do.
And he knew what the green was going to do and where to land it, and
unbelievable.
It really is. Because when he hit that tee shot, I was like, man, I was expecting a little bit. I was expecting on the hump in the middle of the green, around there, and I was really hoping it wasn't going to fall back to the front of the green. That was my thought. But when he missed it left, I was a little disappointed at first, but then I was thinking, I think that's a better spot than being on the green, because that was kind of a bean-shaped green.
It was.
And being down on that front tier is not a good place to be.
No,
to be able
because
to
then he would have had to work it around the bean.
There's no way. To two-putt that would have been tough. And that's probably why so many people had three-putted that. The average for that hole was 3.6 strokes on the green.
I think I heard that it was the hardest hole on the course.
By far. It said it wasn't even close.
And he tore down in the Open Championship, that big, long 240-yard par 3. He parred it every day. Just hitting solid shots to where he needed to hit it, parred it every day. And, of course...
That's crazy to think about. Like, if I'm stepping up to a 215-yard par 3, I'm bringing the driver. Hitting that he hit it with a 6-iron, right?
I think he hit 5. He hit a really safe little cut 5-iron in there, is what he said that he hit.
And it was perfect. And even I think it was Bones said that he saw the lie back there, and he said it's a really good lie.
Yeah. Yeah, well, probably because Scotty had trampled it all down.
That's true. He stepped on it all.
You can't do that. But anyway, I mean, I'm sure they fluffed it up. But still, I mean, to think about that, that's pretty fantastic.
It was impressive. And it just, watching it, I kind of felt bad for McIntyre, because it really just deflated the rest of it's only one hole after that, but the rest of the round.
You could tell. And you could kind of watch him. He kind of thought he had a little chance. Scotty,
he left the door open a little bit
couple
longer
of
than I
small
thought.
putts. Yep. But, Bobby was like, you can't beat this guy.
Yeah, he just shook his head. You can't. What do you do? You can't control it.
No.
No need to get mad at somebody else's skills.
So got the Tour Championship this weekend, and it's the top 30, winner take all. What do you think about that? It's called the Tour Championship. It's the FedEx Cup race to be the best, most recognized player in the world. You got 30 guys, and anybody can win the top prize this week. Like $10, $12 million, whatever it is.
It's hard to.
I don't know what
I don't know.
I don't know what the right answer is.
Who was it that didn't play? Wasn't it Sam Burns? Didn't play in this tournament over the weekend.
Right, and then Rory skipped the first one. So
I don't know if I like that. You can just skip tournaments and still win it all at the end.
Yeah, I don't think Sam skipped. I saw him playing last
weekend.
Was
somebody,
but Rory did skip the first one.
It was I can't remember who it was, but
I don't know. I don't really like the winner take all thing. I think if you wanted to do something like that, I don't know.
Yeah.
The season's ending so early now, and we're getting into the fall. I think maybe take the top 10 and have a little match play next weekend somewhere.
That'd be cool.
Where the 1 and the 2 get buys, and then you play out to the buys, and then you get a $12 million champion that way. Or let's just say break it down one more time, and the top 10 players play a 72-hole event. I don't know what the right answer is. They've tried a lot of iterations of it. I didn't really mind the staggered start so much. just because it gave you a little bit of reward, because
for the season.
Scotty's doubled
Yeah, he's
the
got
point earnings of the 20 to 30 people. You know, I mean, he's
got 5 wins this year.
And how, I'm not saying it's got to be fair, and there's probably not ever going to be a fair solution, but it just seems like that they could come up with something a little bit better, other than just saying, okay, 30 guys. What if Akshay Bhatia, he got in on the 30 mark?
Yeah.
Okay, he's played some pretty good
He
golf.
really has played
Man,
some good golf.
what about his hole in one on Saturday?
Absolutely.
That was impressive.
Yeah.
I thought him and his caddy were gonna hurt each other, but by the way, he gave that BMW to his caddy. I don't know if you saw
Really,
that.
I did not see that.
He did.
Oh,
That's
awesome.
pretty cool.
Yeah.
Little bonus, I guess. But what happens if he comes up and just has a lightning week, 30th place, and beats Scotty? Say Scotty just has an off week in top 10s. I mean, it happens.
Yeah.
Is that really your FedEx Cup year-long champion?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I know. I don't know what a solution is.
I don't know. By the way, my bold prediction is Rory wins. I think Rory wins this tournament. He loves the golf course. He's rested. This is really the time he's going to kick his game into gear. He goes back to the DP World Tour, plays about 3 events over there. He'll be playing right up to the Ryder Cup. Rory will be a stalwart at the Ryder Cup. Of course, we got a future episode about Ryder Cup, so we want to certainly talk about that. Picks next week, they'll have the teams finalized, so maybe we'll get a podcast on that next week or the next week. Of course, we had a few weeks to lead up to that, so let's talk more though about football, and since pro football is right now in our front windshield. I was at Wild Wings the other night, and I was seeing on their big screens that they had, if you go and have your fantasy football. By the way, they don't sponsor us, but if they wanted to give us some free wings and a sweet tea, I'd take that.
I'm always down for free wings.
Yeah. Anyway, but if you have your fantasy football party there, or pick'em party, your draft, then they give you all this different kind of stuff. They actually give rings for the champion.
That's hilarious.
Isn't that great?
Have you seen any of the punishment stuff of what they have to do and punish?
No.
Or how about who gets the first pick? They do because everybody that does fantasy football is typically out of shape.
Oh yeah.
Us included if we did fantasy. Right. So they do like whoever gets the fastest 40-yard time.
Oh good.
Oh, it's so funny.
How many
man.
hammies?
Oh yeah. So you see people just tumbling around the 15-yard mark. Oh, it's so funny.
I have not.
They're really funny.
I catch that. Those guys that used to watch all the time, Impractical Jokers, right?
Yes, that's exactly what it feels like.
Those guys have set a new standard for stuff that we'll video or stuff that we will make our friends do.
Yes.
Right. Anyway, digress here for a second, but I thought fantasy football has become a big deal. We played one year. I don't know, it was okay with me, but
we did it back when LaDainian Tomlinson was still in the league because we had LT.
That's right.
Yeah, I do want to preface the fantasy stuff. I can't participate in fantasy too many times. I can't do it. It's let me down so much. It makes me mad, and you can't control it.
Right.
I played twice in high school. One kind of for a class project, which doesn't seem very high school related, but it was, I think. And I got so mad.
Yeah.
And then I played one other time, and I needed 1 point to win the championship. My running back runs it down to like the 3-yard line.
And kneels.
No, they put in the backup to score.
Oh, no.
Even worse. I'd rather him kneel.
Oh, no. It's like a varsity blues moment. Oh, good night.
And so I don't play fantasy, but I know fantasy.
Okay. So we're gonna just toss around a few thoughts with regards to who you might want to draft on today's podcast.
Yeah, and at the very least, who's going to have a good season, we think.
And the whole deal with fantasy is you got to be real flexible, and so we'll hopefully give you a few players that if you don't draft them now, you'll kind of be watching down the road if you might want to trade for them. If your guy goes down, heaven forbid, Patrick Mahomes, bites it in the second week, or Joe Burrow has another freak injury,
or they don't tell you that Christian McCaffrey's not starting the first week like they did last year. That was. Can we just say that was bootleg?
That was
dirty business.
Yeah. Both, all over that, right, for sure. So who's your favorite quarterback? Who's the guy that's gonna just light it up and your fantasy number one guy? Because you gotta have a QB.
number one guy, I really think, for me, number one is going to be Lamar Jackson. I just think his dual threat capabilities, him and Josh Allen are very close in that. And you can put Jalen Hurts in there as well because, Tush Push did not get banned.
Oh,
okay?
That's right.
Get out of here, haters.
That's
okay?
right.
Because it's here to stay, at least for another season.
Mm-hmm.
And those three dual threat quarterbacks. Now, I have on my list here, this is the tier one.
Mm-hmm.
Jaden Daniels is up there too. And I don't know, we've talked about this in the past, not necessarily on the podcast, but it's his sophomore season.
Right.
What do you feel about sophomore season?
Usually they nosedive a little bit. Everybody kind of catches up with them a little. Jaden also, though, has that. The thing that might help him along is he still has his OC.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay, and he also has the legs to make plays. Now, his legs are skinnier than toothpicks, so they could get
really
broken at any moment, so he really needs to be careful out there. But, Jaden's an iffy one for me. I got Joe Burrow, man. Because he's still got his two main guys to throw to, Higgins and Chase. And by the way, if you want either one of those guys as your wide receivers, number one. I think Jamar Chase is way up there high on most.
I think he's
like number one pick guys.
Yeah, I think he's number 2 wide receiver in the whole league.
Yeah.
And he's got
Who's one?
Justin Jefferson.
See, they're kind of 1 and 1A, aren't they?
I'm saying talent and ability. Now, fantasy football numbers, I don't know because I like J.J. McCarthy.
Yeah.
But I haven't seen him in the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
So I can't put him in tier 1 on the wide receiver list because I don't know about the quarterback. Because the thing about wide receiver is they depend on the quarterback.
Yeah.
And so for me, I love Joe Burrow because I was thinking about this earlier. He's not going to have a defense. We know that. They can't get him. What's his name? Hendrickson?
Yeah.
They can't get him signed. He's probably going to sit out at least a couple of games. Even with him, their defense last year was in the 20s.
Yeah.
Terrible.
Yeah.
So he's going to have to win shootouts.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think Joe Burrow is going to light up the fantasy scoreboard for that reason.
Yeah. Matthew Stafford is another guy that's a little bit of a sleeper. His health's a question, but they say he's better. He's got a couple of great receivers to throw to.
Yep.
Is Nakua back, and then he also got Devontae Adams in the offseason. They always have a very innovative offense.
Yes.
Don't turn your back on the 37-year-old. He may be as old as the Utah quarterback this year, but But anyway, Cam Rising. I think him and Cam graduated high school.
We're gonna
together.
have just a Cam Rising section on one of these podcasts.
He's all right. Yeah, that's right. So those who may be that quarterback that just kind of comes out of nowhere and just surprises you a little bit.
Okay, I want to say Bo Nix, but I think that's too predictable.
Okay.
Drake May.
Yeah, I'm with you on that.
Drake May. I really like Vrabel's as a coach.
Mm-hmm.
I really think he was wrongly fired twice now, right? Because from the Titans and the Commanders, right? Wasn't he at the Commanders?
No, he was just Titans.
Okay.
Just Titans for a while. I think the Titans just kind of gave up on him. The only thing that worries me a little bit about Drake May is I don't know if he's going to get a lot of opportunities. Vrabel is a very defensive-minded coach, but they brought Josh McDaniels back. Isn't that his name? Josh McDaniels. He was Brady's OC.
Daniels.
Josh Daniels. He'll be his OC. So I guess there's possibility.
I think he's talented. I loved him at UNC, and so I think they've got a really good team. I think other than Josh Allen, Buffalo, their division isn't that fantastic because I don't think Miami's going to be very good. Mm-hmm. Who's the fourth one in that the Jets? We know the Jets aren't going to be very good. Yeah. So I like Drake May, but again, it's sophomore season. But he didn't start all year last year, which kind of I think gives him the edge.
Maybe. We'll see. Verdict's still a little bit out on him. I think everybody's going to kind of just keep comparing him to Brady or whoever to Brady, the Patriots. But let's forget that because he's in the booth now and not anymore. I gotta just not because I've been a Cowboy fan my whole life, but if Dak stays healthy, and with the receivers that he has, the two wideouts and the tight end, Dak could have one of those kind of sleeper seasons. And here's what we know about Dak. Okay, he gets a lot of trash fantasy points.
Yeah.
When the game's out of reach, Dak has 200 yards in the fourth quarter and 2 touchdowns to lose by 14.
Yeah.
And so, as a fantasy player, that's kind of the guy. He's not going to quit.
No.
Dak's
No,
got
he's
a lot
a
of
competitor.
character.
He's a competitor.
But I'm just, the Cowboys are in trouble, and they're a little bit like a less talented Bengals team, because they certainly don't have the Burrow, Chase, T. Higgins, but they are kind of the poor man's. Is that fair?
I think so.
CeeDee Lamb.
I think their defenses are about the same. They got the 1-star Micah Parsons, which again, same thing.
Man, they're the same team.
It's a mirror. It really is a mirror. We got a defensive end holding out because the owners won't pay him.
They're the same team.
And the defenses are pretty much trash other than that.
What does that say about
But they
the
have
Cowboys?
good kickers. So they both have good kickers. We know Brett Aubrey, whatever his name is a really good kicker.
By the way, draft him. Because draft Brett Aubrey, because he will be the only points. And if the Cowboys get to the 50, they're in field goal range.
Yeah. Oh man, dude, his range is insane.
That's amazing.
It really is.
I mean, he can literally kick this football over the mountain.
Yeah. It sounds like Uncle Rico there.
I know, that's what I mean. I was hoping you'd catch that.
Yeah, I think Dak could really have a good fantasy season. I mean, he could have a good season too, but the verdict's out on Schottenheimer. I will say this too. Joe Burrow and Dak Prescott, again, they are really mirrored kind of in franchises here. They don't have running games.
No.
Brown is the running back for the Bengals, and he wasn't great last year.
No.
He's okay. I have no idea who the running back is this year. Jaden Blue is their best hope, in my opinion.
I don't know.
I'm biased there, but I think he's their best option. But we know the running game opens the passing game.
Yeah.
And if you don't have a running game, the defense can just sit back and drop,
8 guys. And we know the Cowboys probably can't block 3.
Yeah.
So,
and we know Philly can get home with
3 or 4.
2.
Yeah, I know. Boy, that's the truth. So, I don't know. That's just a few little thoughts there. Maybe a couple of players. Let's talk about a couple of players, since fantasy really doesn't matter. Tight end, maybe a tight end in your mind.
I love Brock Bowers. I think he's number 1 on the tight end list, and I think that's right. But I want to say the sleeper one. Okay, they have him at 10 here on the fantasypros.com. Is Tyler Warren for Indianapolis. Tyler Warren, rookie year out of Penn State, highly used at Penn State. He's like a fridge, and he's got hands. He's faster than he looks, and I like Shane Steichen. I like his use of tight ends, and I think he's got a weapon there.
Okay,
but again, Daniel Jones is his quarterback, so they named him the starter today.
Oh,
yeah.
Can it be a rebirth of Daniel Jones?
I don't know.
Was there ever a birth?
Was there? Yeah. Can there be a birth of Daniel Jones?
I don't know. How about some running backs?
Running backs. I think I like.
I mean, if you don't get
Saquon or Derrick Henry,
Jamar Gibbs.
I really cannot believe Jamar Gibbs is so high, because he was my sleeper pick last year.
Yeah.
I told you he was gonna be great out of Alabama, because he was Nick Saban's last running back.
Yep.
And I love Nick Saban, but I think Josh Jacobs is due for a good season out of Green Bay.
Yeah, and being in Green Bay, they like to run the football. Yes. And he really hasn't had much room to running behind the Raiders line. That's why I was a little surprised to see some guys had Genty or whatever.
Yeah, Ashton Genty so high. Yeah, he's 5 here on the list.
First of all, he's a rookie. That's tough. Second of all, he's the Raiders. Now, Pete Carroll may turn things around.
He might. I kind of hope he does. I like the Raiders.
I'd love to see the Raiders compete.
Me
just
too.
like I want to see the Cowboys compete, because this is just good for the league, whether you love them or you hate them. Shane, also the guy in Miami.
Oh, A-Chain.
A-Chain.
Yeah, I don't know how to pronounce it either.
He's of course, we mentioned McCaffrey. McCaffrey's
I think McCaffrey's. Right, I don't know, man. McCaffrey's old. He's beat up. He's just injury prone. I think that's a risky pick, in my opinion.
I do too.
I think another sleeper pick is Breece Hall. New York. I don't think New York's going to be great this year. I don't, because I don't think they're going to be good my entire lifetime.
Yeah, right.
But I think with Justin Fields, I think with a team that's actually kind of caring about the sport again and not just there for the paycheck, he's a player.
He is, and
he could be a decent second running back on your league or on your roster.
Yeah. And depending on the team you're playing, they're going to run a lot of zone read. You got 2 blocks and you get 6, 7, 8 yards with the zone read.
They're going to score a lot of running touchdowns.
So they
I think.
could.
Yeah,
They really could. That's a good sleeper pick. Anybody else just kind of lighten up for you, special teams wise, or somebody that you want to just kind of mention? Another wide receiver. I tell you, somebody we hadn't talked about is any of the Lions. St. Brown.
St. Brown is going to have a good season. How about Jameson Williams?
Yes.
He's still at Detroit, too. He had a good season last year.
Yes.
And they finally figured out, man, he's got the Jets.
I know you're a little leery of just wait and see on the losing both coordinators and all that kind of stuff, but the quarterback there, his name slips my mind. Jared Goff might be a decent pick.
He's not a bad pick.
He's a stat machine.
He is, because again, he just goes out there and performs. He doesn't have a great arm, but I think he's got good IQ. The verdict is out on him with offensive coordinator. I don't know, but I think he's got the roster to be able to have a good season, no matter who the coordinator is. Mm-hmm. Because with Jahmyr Gibbs, the 2 wide receivers, and they actually have an offensive line, somewhat, I think they're going to be good.
I think their offensive line is still pretty stout. It was one of the best in the league last year, and them and the Eagles probably could kind of fight for that number one.
But it got banged up later in the season.
It did. So getting all them back together and getting some footing, I think they'll be okay. And I don't think if he's your quarterback, I don't think you're going to be in bad shape. Yeah. How about defenses?
Defenses.
Got to have a defense on these fantasy teams.
I think
it's going to be hard not to pick the Eagles.
It's hard not to pick the Eagles, man.
They're tough.
I think they have some of the best talent in the league on defense. I really do. And I know I'm biased saying that. I will preface that. But Cooper DeJean, Quinyon Mitchell, Zach Bond, Jahad Campbell that they picked up in the draft this year.
Geeking
I just
out
think
with
they're
the
going to be good.
Okay,
I really think they're going to be good.
We know you know the whole roster.
I do, but they're going to be good.
They are going
and I really love the coordinator.
Yeah.
And just Vic Fangio. I think he's got it down. And I think he's played to the strength of the defense, which is the front 4. Mm-hmm. And they can, again, drop back those 7, 8 guys in the coverage and be okay and get picks. And they had a good turnover rate last year. Yep. And I think it's hard not to pick my Eagles.
Yeah, they probably will again this year. I really think we're, the NFC, I don't see anybody beating the Eagles unless they just get beat up and somehow the soap opera starts. Because, that kind of is a little iffy. Philly's Philly.
Yeah.
But that's about the only hope I think the NFC has for Eagles not represented. You mentioned earlier Vrabel. I think a New England defense is always going to be good. I tell you, the Tampa Bay defense is always a good one to have.
It is.
Todd Bowles, man, he's the real deal. The Vikings defense always shows out.
How about Buffalo? Buffalo had the highest turnover rate last year.
They did.
Yeah.
That's right.
So Buffalo's a good defense, and I think the complementary offense, because, again, I think with defenses, you got to have a good offense on the other side of the ball so that the defense isn't on the field the whole game.
Right. And you've got a defensive-minded head coach at Buffalo. That's kind of, I think if you're kind of on the edge, which defense to choose fantasy-wise, look at the head coach, look at the way the team plays, and the head coach's mentality. If it's a defensive mentality, you kind of want to lean that way with your defense, I think.
Yeah.
Okay?
And that's why I'm surprised the Chargers are so low. Because I think John Harbaugh, it's John, right?
Jim.
I get so confused.
I know.
Jim, whatever. They look like twins, and they're like 4 years apart.
I know.
But Jim Harbaugh is defense first.
He is.
And kind of trenches first. And
very much
they're
so.
very low on the list here, but again, they've got a good offense, and they're just going to be a stout team. I think they're going to be a very SEC type team.
That's a good comparison.
And they're going to bully teams around, and I think the defense is going to help that. But
if the Chargers have a winning season, it'll be one of those 10-7 seasons that they've won games 23-20, you know. And
but it's going to look like Michigan.
It will.
And what did he do under Michigan, man? He beat Ohio State every year and won national championships.
Yep.
So, I think they got a good coach there. I like their defense. What do you feel about Pittsburgh defense before we move off defense?
Always a good bet. Because of Tomlin. Tomlin is just the tough guy. Tomlin is old school. They've got Watts on the edge.
Does he feel like the most old school coach in the league?
Yeah, is he? I think is he the longest tenured coach in the league now?
I believe so. I can't think of one longer.
And really,
how long has Kyle Shanahan been at San Fran?
Not as long as Tomlin.
No.
Tomlin took over
from Cowher.
That's right.
Did he win a Super Bowl?
Bill Cowher did win a Super Bowl.
No. Did Tomlin?
Tomlin has not won a Super Bowl.
Okay, I couldn't remember because I know he inherited Big Ben in his last 2 seasons.
Maybe more.
So, man, he's been there a long time.
He has since the since the 2000s, I know, because Roethlisberger won against Seattle. Yeah. That was the last Pittsburgh Super Bowl. But
I can tell you the TV that I watched that one on in our living room, it was the box one that was still in the case. That's what that Super Bowl was on.
Hey, one more thought. I meant to mention this a second ago. What about Kyler Murray and the Ohio State wide receiver teaming up there?
Oh yeah, Marvin Harrison
Jr.
Yeah.
I was thinking about them as, especially early in the year. You know, Kyler, when he's good, he's really good.
He's really good until the new Call of Duty drops.
And he's a stat guy.
He is. Because they're usually losing.
They may not win a lot of games. But Kyler Murray, having Marvin Harrison Jr. and any other offensive piece, because they've got a pretty good running game. They still got the guy that he was a cancer survivor from Pitt. Anyway, he was running back. It's just a tough kid, good running back. I believe he's number 32. Anyway, I was just thinking about them.
Yeah, that could be a good pick.
Somebody to think about.
What about? Oh, there was something I was just thinking of. Oh, what about Chicago? Okay, we've had our Caleb Williams talk. Mm-hmm. Okay, he showed really good in the preseason. Give him that. So it is the preseason though. Mm-hmm. But we know how much Ben Johnson likes his running backs.
Oh yeah.
They still have DeAndre Swift.
Oh.
Who we know was almost as good as Saquon, just didn't get as much touches at Philly. I mean, I don't know. Chicago could be good this year. It's all dependent on Caleb. But I think if Ben Johnson figures out the running game, I think DeAndre Swift could be due for a good season. He's not anywhere on my lists.
Well, I tell you this, Ben Johnson, remember that game they won last year? It might have been an overtime game. I can't remember exactly, but he ran the football like 12 times in a row, right down the field, and it used Montgomery. He used Gibbs kind of back and forth. Montgomery also could have a really good year for the Lions.
Really good.
But you're right. That may be a good pick to throw out there. Ben's not afraid to run the football as an OC, and some guys at the OC really get pass happy, and he's not one of them. So
they are.
Could be. All right, man. Well, we got a lot of fantasy talk, and one thing that's not a fantasy is the Bible. I was reading some things this morning. I think you mentioned it last week about Hezekiah and Sennacherib and things like that. I was reading that again this morning, and I was just thinking about the fact, Hezekiah wasn't afraid to go a little bit against the grain.
Yeah.
In fact, a lot against the grain.
Mm-hmm.
His dad and his granddad were both pretty awful, secular, worldly, ungodly guys, and then all of a sudden he goes against the grain and is arguably the best king Israel had since David.
Yeah.
I mean,
Solomon did a lot, but he had his issues too.
He did. I mean, Hezekiah is not without fault. I mean, he had some issues at the end as well. But it's not fantasy. That it's a real character in the Bible that I think we'd all do good to go and check out his background and then read about him. He's very innovative.
Yeah, extremely. With the aquifer system and stuff, the Hezekiah tunnels, which are still there, by the way, if you decide to go to Israel and check those out.
That's amazing.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
For the day and age, the lack of tools they had.
Didn't they dig down in two spaces and somehow figure out how to meet each other in the middle?
That's crazy. That is.
in like the 600s BC. I think is when he was king.
They also had to figure out how to get water to run uphill. Because Jerusalem's on a hill.
That's right.
It's also, you've been there, it's basically a desert. I mean, That's pretty crazy.
God certainly used him in a great way,
Absolutely.
but He gifted him in a great way too. And don't neglect your gifts. Do what God
Yeah.
has called you and equipped you to do. And it's no fantasy. It's no fantasy. It's a real thing.
Sure is.
It's faith, football, and
Four.
we hope to see you again next week.